this afternoon has already been done by 3 other people. You've had 3 different keynote addresses. So honestly speaking, there's no more room for another keynote address. All I'm not going to say is to ask you 3 questions. How many of us here have our program? Do you have your program? Yes, thank you. Can you wave your program in the air? Thank you very much. At the back of the program, the last part of the program, just open it and see if you have notes. Do you have notes there? Yes. Thank you. I don't know if anybody is here with the key of his or her car. I have mine here. Do you have the key of your car or your house or your hall or anywhere? Anybody with a key in the house? Okay, so we all have keys. Do you have a pen? Yes. You have pen? Yes. Okay, you can help me to write the address of your house. I live in Adejumo Crescent, Providence Estate, Ibadan. That is the address of my house where I live. You already have a note with you, and we all have keys. Already 3 people have given you keynote addresses. So I thank you very much for listening. I know you don't know where I'm going. Where I'm going is that my assignment is very simple. So give the keynote address for this afternoon. And already we have a note, and I've given you my address. Because already 3 people already helped me with that assignment. On a very serious note, we are going to be looking at this title, Imagine Health Issues, the Challenge for Health Promotion. And I'm so happy to the organizers for this type of theme at a time like this. We are going to deviate from the slide a lot, but as time will permit me, I will try to look at some things from the slide. The first thing I'd like to say is that Nigeria right now is undergoing a wonderful experience. All of us as Nigerians. Do we all recognize that? Yes. And the question I ask myself is, how come we have nurses from Benue? Even someone just came from Benue this afternoon, from Rivers, from Nnewi, from different Edo State Delta. And I saw my senior colleagues from UBTH. Are there people from Benin here? Yes, so that's where I come from. So it's so wonderful to have all of us here. But the question is this: Nigeria is undergoing economic recession. But for you and for me, where people are saying there is casting down, for us there shall be lifting up. Because by choice, the profession we are into, nursing profession, is a God-chosen profession. And so for you and for me, in this country, it doesn't matter what economy, what euro is speaking, what yen is, what American dollar or Canadian dollar or British pound sterling is talking about. It's not important, because we have chosen to be nurses. God himself is at the epicenter of our affairs, and he's there for us 24/7, and he's not going to let us down at all. Now, in this present situation of economic recession, can I ask general questions? How many of us here, when the light says red and you drive off, has it happened to anybody in this place? Why? Somebody said yes. Is it that you're in a hurry? Are you in a hurry to beat the traffic light? Nobody here has ever driven up when the traffic light says amber or red. I know some of us have done so. And I want to say, imagine health issues begin with us. Ladies and gentlemen, if at any point in time you realize that you are beating traffic lights, it is a time to stop all that you are doing and take a sanity break. We all know of the 5 minutes in quote madness that we talk about. When you begin to scream at your children, you begin to shout when you are talking with your husband, or if something is happening that gets you very highly irritated, then you may want to observe. Peradventure, you are already slipping into your own or my own 5 minutes of madness. Imagine health issues. I do not want to begin to talk about some things that are very far away, but to look at ourselves. How many of us travel? And when you're traveling, maybe from from Ibadan to Lagos, all through the 2 hours journey, you never had a sip of water. You just didn't have left for drinking. There are some people, they are called Adokuta. Is it possible really to bite a stone and not to drink water? Of course no, but that depicts something. Many people like to take a lot of things for granted, which include drinking of water. As simple as that exercise and that activity is, it contributes enormously to emerging health issues. Emerging health issues now include chronic kidney diseases, that non-communicable diseases the people are not paying attention to. Before, nobody needed to teach you how to drink water. But now, we are so busy 24/7 looking after our patients and then doing all things for every other person except ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, may I tell us that with the face of emerging health issues, that is no longer acceptable. For those of us who are Christians, and to my Muslim sisters as well, we must have heard it. Love your neighbor as who? So if you don't know how to love yourself, you may not qualify to love your neighbor, because you must know how to cherish yourself, how to love yourself in order to be able to love someone else. So as nurses, we need to be up, hale and hearty to be able to look after our patients and the people we are looking after in the community or wherever we are. So it is important for us to begin to look at emerging health diseases, emerging health issues, chronic non-communicable diseases within our environment. There's a current study that shows that nurses are the highest group of health professionals living with high blood pressure. I don't know, is it the food that is making noise? The Fanta, the Coke, the sandwich, or the... Should we hold on? We should continue. Okay, fine. So what I'm saying is, recent researches are pointing to the fact that nurses are living with high blood pressure. And these are nurses who will go to work with that high blood pressure, looking after patients and possibly taking the patient's blood pressure without taking our own blood pressure. Nurses were the ones who are so busy that we will not honor doctors' appointments because we are very busy with our work. It is important to consider a lot of things. Who is the person helping me to press my things there? Someone is manipulating it. Thank you. And what I'm trying to say is that when we are looking at emerging health issues, and let us look at ourselves. Let's look within us. Look at how old are we? It is nurses' children. Compare the children of nurses, ladies and gentlemen. I am speaking from experience. By the grace of God, I have 5 children, 4 biological and 1 adopted. And I can speak from that experience that the children of nurses, our children, God is their help. But if you compare our children to children of teachers, I have taught in different spectrum of schools, and I want to tell you, whether you believe it or not, you can actually carry out a study to see what is happening to our children, especially in higher institutions. Compare the performances of our children to the children of teachers, primary and secondary school teachers. These individuals have all the time on earth to look after those children. They have all the time available at their disposal to do their assignments with them, to read their work with them, to do everything with them. And it's showing forth. Our children do not have the luxury of the time that is at our disposal because of the nature of the work that we do. And it is important, ladies and gentlemen, for us to look inward. If we are here and you are dirty and you never took care of it and you suddenly became sorry, for heaven's sake, you say you are not aware of menopause. And so what is happening? That 50 suddenly dawns on you, and then you are confronted with menopause. The irritability, the hot flushes that comes with it is Is it that we thought we are immune to menopause? Of course, no. But the point is that we are very busy looking after other people. Cancer is on the increase. Cancer is on the increase everywhere. One day in my hospital, UCH, I stood by the podium of where things are posted, and I counted 5 nurses, 2 medical doctors, 2 died of cancer of pancreas, and 1 cancer of another part that I cannot remember now. The nurses, 1 died of cancer of the cervix, 1 died of cancer of pancreas, 2 of cancers of breast, and the other person I cannot remember the source of that cancer now. On one podium, they posted all of them there. Cancer is increasing in incidence and prevalence. And these are not looked at when we are talking about emerging health issues. Many times we concentrate on infectious diseases. I am going to look at that, which is on the slide. But anytime I have the privilege and the opportunity to talk to my colleagues, I want to always look inward and to encourage us to look at ourselves after these scientific meetings that we are going to have. Let us take our own health very serious, drink lots and lots of water. If you go anywhere, like we have on the table, you have 5 unconscious, what we call 5 alive. Please don't grab it, drink water. It's important for our health. Drink as much as you can. It helps to flush your kidney out, and all manners of derivatives of kidney diseases that are rampant now are not going to be there. The MC has addressed the issue of passive alliance smokers. And so if you don't smoke, but you have someone who smokes in your environment, you need to take care of yourself. It is important. As nurses, God is gracious to us, but we need to be gracious to ourselves. So that's the first assignment. I want to make sure I do not leave this podium without passing across to us. Let me find out if you are with me. Hello? Hi. Hey, yeah, and you missed it. Hello is hello. Hi is hi. But that's okay. Don't miss it next time. If I say hello, it's hello. If I say hi, it's hi. If you want to copy or you go, you must copy it right. Hello? Now let's go on to the slide. So this we have some outline there. We're going to be looking at a bit of introduction to what I've done. And we'll look at some emerging health issues. A brief background is what I've already provided to us. And then we'll look at the issue of health promotion and health education, if there's any difference between these two terminologies. And then the physical timeline of emerging health issues, generally speaking, potential sources of them, interrelatedness of the factors, and of course, I know most of us, when we talk about emerging health issues and emerging, our minds go in a lot of the time into emerging infectious diseases, and so we're going to look at that. I've mentioned mental health issues, which we do not pay attention to, we don't give attention to, because we think until you have schizophrenia, until then, that's when you're talking about mental health problem. But no, like I just gave an example of you missing traffic light, not because you don't know, not because you deliberately wanted to, not because you're in a hurry. It just needs to come to you that the light is actually telling you to wait, and you are leaving off. And you are just, after you have gone, you just say, what? I think that light didn't permit me, and didn't ask me to go. Or you want to go somewhere, and you have passed the place before you realize that, this is not where I'm going. Come on, Olabisi, what's wrong with you? That is a caution. Those are red lights. They are alarms that should tell us that no, something is going on and we should take a sanity break at that point in time. If anybody lives here, the world is going to continue. As the economic recession is, nobody wants to leave. Is there anybody who is ready to bow out of this shameful, bad world that we are into now? Even with the economic recession, anybody ready to bow out right now? No. So it is important for us to look at that. The issue of internal displacement of persons. We talked about all kinds of insurgencies that are available, that are happening around us. Not only Boko Haram. You just see somebody just woke up and just become aggressive. Somebody who he has not been. So insurgency is not only the issue of Boko Haram. It could be someone you have been living with and you don't know. Substance abuse. A lot of things are happening. I have new set of students in the university, one of the private universities that I've done. I was invited as a consultant to come and help them to stop the girls from smoking. Young girls, they don't derive pleasure in being initiated into smoking. When you see tobacco companies rolling out money and they say they have one program you are doing, they want to sponsor this, they want to sponsor that, just know that you are also contributing to death of those young people on unknowingly. It's better for them to go with their money. But that is what is happening. They come in subtly and then they introduce those girls into smoking. And the problem is never to start. Once you start, you get hooked on some of these secrets, and there's a big problem that accompanies that. Sexual violence. Many of us, I keep saying that many, as nurses, you know, we taught our children, avoid anybody touching, any stranger touching you. The people who are going to touch our children are not strangers. They are the uncles and the aunties. They are the people within the household. They are the stepdaddies in the home. They are those uncles that are younger brother of one distant uncle somewhere. They are somebody who we have brought into our homes to help, to assist the education of such individuals. They are the ones that are molesting our children. So we're talking about sexual violence. We're talking about the margin problems that are constituting to help millions now. Look at that aspect and look at those areas. The issue of homosexuality has been with us for so many years. It's not that it's growing in a new dimension right now. You have our young people, many people are not aware of what is happening to us. You are going on shift and you are just returning, you are tired, and you just go off to your room without checking what those young stars are doing. Many of us say we are computer, internet, technology, nurses. Beautiful, thank God for that now. But our children, how much are we able to monitor? The more you look, the less you see. Those children are operating in cyberspace now. We are technology, we are computer, but they are already moving into space. When you are watching them, they are doing something, they put something to cover up what they are doing. Maybe the wind is sinking. That's what you are looking at, but that's not what they are doing. Unless you actually get close to them and observe and see what is it that is at the background of what you are seeing, you may never say. If you pick the phone of a youngster and you want to look at the content of that stone, you may be reading something, and what you are reading may not mean what you think it means. If you open it and you say, Coco says 317, it doesn't make any sense to you, but it communicates volume to people who are speaking it. Coco may not be the name of that person. Coco may not be Pap. Coco may not be whatever you may ever think or imagine in your faintest imagination. And if you do not know what is happening, imagine health issues and not those things that we were taught in the 1970s. I was involved in some secondary school students in Ibadan. And what they wanted me to do is to be an interface between those in the 70s and those in the 20th century. So I asked those people who are in the oldies, how do somebody toast you, or somebody want to speak to you, how do you know? And the person will just write all those long letters. In fact, since I've been moving, my heart has been having palpitation. The crepitus tremors of my cardiothoracic region is vibrating. And when I see you, I find it difficult to escape from insomnia. Therefore, doxology. The words that they don't know, that they can't explain, that kind of thing they speak. But now, no. They will come right to your father, to your house, and they will just say, Ekasuma, Ejo, she will not interrupt Begiri. And you'll be wanting Begiri. In this environment, you will call the daughter out of the house yourself. Funke, are they selling Begiri in this place? And as you are talking to the person who is asking of one stupid thing that is not available, they are finished communicating, they have sold you. So those things that work in the 70s are never going to work now. So you're talking about imagine health issues. There are things that we as parents must shine our eyes. And because especially we are nurses, our time is has so many things that is contending with those things. So we look at sexual violence and look at the responsibility of the nurse. Because of this, we're talking about health promotion, and then we mention a few of those diseases, Ebola story, Lassa fever, and then we'll be rounding up on that and then concluding. Introduction. Well, I just mentioned here that every 3 seconds you have a young child who dies, and in most cases this death is from one infectious disease or the other. And Nigeria has 3.3 million persons who are displaced by conflict. So you have all manners of Fulanis that are happening. My friend invited me to his Ramadan party. And he's my friend. He's a professor in UI. And I couldn't make it that day, so I was looking for how to excuse myself. And then I started calling his number, he didn't go through. Eventually, late in the night, he said, thank God you didn't come. That one Fulani just came. He raised cow and shot seven of those cows. 250 naira per 1,000 per one. What is the reason? There's nothing. He was just looking for trouble. for anybody to respond, and then there will have been peace trackers. He said he just looked at him, he said thank you very much, he carried his cows and sold them cheaply and didn't do anything about it. I said, what? Is that what he said? Many souls will be lost, many people will die if you should respond the way you should respond. This is the environment, this is the society we have found ourselves now. This thing happened in towns, not in one remote village. I'm talking about Shasha in Ibadan. So it's not far, it's not in Kishi at all. So the National Agency for AIDS also talked about no longer emphasis on HIV now, because you know the prevalence has been dropping and dropping because of a lot of things that we've done. But the issue is, along with HIV, you now have the twin sisters that are joining in, which is tuberculosis. And tuberculosis has become a thing that went unnoticed. I was in the University of Chicago for a postdoctoral fellowship. And I mean, innocently, I had to have a dual ID card. One ID card as a visiting scholar, so I could access the library and do any reading work I want to do. And the other one as a nurse, so I could access the patients and go to the ward and see the units and see other things. And so one of the requirements is for me to do tests, series of tests, which I took for granted. And the first one was tuberculosis test. Man, the thing was praised, highly elevated. They've never seen it. The American nurses were all scared because they've never seen that. I was not bothered. I said, don't worry. It's you that I've never seen that. You sleep and wake with tuberculosis. There's no palava. I was not afraid. And then they said, okay, I have to go and do another test. You know the next test, after very raised, abnormally raised level of MATU. So the next thing for me to do is to go ahead and do a blood test. And it came out positive. When it came out positive, out there you had this. Some people are already wondering. Then I became afraid. You know, initially I said, don't worry, we are used to that Nigeria. But by the time the blood test became positive, I said, but then I know I'll be going to the ward, I'll be taking patients and my students down around the unit and all that. So I didn't worry. But by the time the blood test became positive, I tell you, I became afraid. And I'm telling you reality. And then they now call counselors to begin to talk to me, how I will recommend drugs, all that is going to happen. And I was looking at those drugs. It's very easy to counsel your patient to take those big things. But for me to swallow them, I was imagining. So they now said, well, there's one more test. I will go and do chest x-ray. That's the final one that broke the cameras. And I went. As I sat down, I was removing my dress and parents. I was saying, this is international disgrace. How come I didn't have tuberculosis in Nigeria? How come how many people will have contacted this thing from me? I'm sorry for my children, my husband, all those students. I was just imagining different kind of thing. But thank God, chest x-ray came out and it was negative. Praise the Lord with you. Okay. It came out negative. But what I'm saying is, imagine health issues. It was HIV, everybody was on the scatter, a lot of fun, pepper, different kind of things came in. And then before we do where we are, there's a new turn. And the tuberculosis came into scene. I began to do all kinds of things. And so we have unprecedented rates of different types of diseases accompanying HIV. When HIV was, lowering down, so many lives began to go on. So it's not possible for you to have, in a week, not to have an emergence of one infectious disease or the other. From 1970s, and that's a big problem for us. The second thing I said I was going to do is to differentiate between health promotion and health education. And from this slide, as nurses who work at the grassroots levels, it's very, very important for us to talk about health promotion. Because nursing has a rich history, unlike every other profession in the health industry. When someone was speaking today, the person said, I think it's our chairman, said, nurses are the nerve center of primary health. And I quickly added that not even only primary, the entire healthcare industry, without nurses, forget it. Whatever level, wherever you have been, on this planet, if nursing is not there, the healthcare industry is meaningless and we don't have to achieve its purpose and its goal. So nursing has a rich history in health promotion, just like we are not necessarily that we are at the grassroots level. So every nurse, midwife, visitor, whoever you are, as the public health domain, it is very, very important to know that automatically you are a health promotion practitioner. You are a practitioner who is concerned with promotion of the well-being of the populace. So there health issues that will be tackled on headlong by this group of nurses that we are. Now, we've talked about different kinds of emerging health issues, threat from overall health of the population, diseases, injuries. There are some sites in Ninewi, for the nurses that came from Ninewi, that you will think you are in the US. You just get to this place, they are so sophisticated, everything is fine. The same thing in Calabar, you get to the aspect of Calabar, beautiful. And you see this as they are coming up, and as you see all this level of development, also there are emerging diseases. There are issues that have been killed off, but they are resurfacing with us. So the horizon issue has just begun because the society is improving, society is getting modernized, is getting westernized, is getting globalized. A lot of this is going on in societies where we are. A lot of these are happening there. So it's important for us to look at it. We're talking about health promotion to differentiate it from health education from the next slide. There are two different words, but they are used interchangeably. When you talk about health education, you are concerned with providing information and knowledge. People need to know, they need to capture that as much as possible as individuals and as communities. Whether your client at the point in time could be a client, a person, it could be a community, it could be a family, and so irrespective of the spectrum that client occupies at a particular point in time, it is important to be able to provide skills that can be used to help these individuals to adopt healthy lifestyles, healthy good behaviors, healthy practices that can help them to promote their health. And so, if we're talking about health promotion, as opposed to health education, which is not providing information and increasing the knowledge of the people about prevailing health circumstances at a given point in time, that is a combination of learning experiences. The learning experience of these individuals, some people came from China, and they wanted to do something for the people in one community in the east. And so they felt that they should not sing a borehole for them as a token for that community. So they sang a borehole, beautifully located, and the people, the women in the community, they were not going there to fetch water. And they were asked youth corpers there. I was the Southwest coordinator of youth corps program mobilization during that period. And so we asked youth corpers to find out where research, what is happening. And the women said that those white people, anybody who is white skin is a white person, whether it's a Bora or Lebanon or anybody, Lebanese is a Igbo. And they said those Igbo people, they have come to cut their life away by sinking that borehole. Because when they go to the stream, which takes a while to trek, that is when they have time to gist, to chat, in quotes, to gossip. But that well, that borehole they sank, prevented them from doing that. So everybody abandoned the borehole and continue going to the extreme. It's very important. If you want to promote the health of the people, you must include them, you must involve them, you must encourage them to participate so that you don't dissipate energy unnecessarily. So it's a combination of learning experiences in order to help the individuals who are concerned, because they are the owners of their communities, they understand their culture, their lifestyle, and their living experiences. Because we can use all of that to influence their behavior. Now, between the 1960s and 1970s, some of the infectious diseases that were done away with began to resurface. And between the mid-century of 1992, it became a consensus that whether you call them new diseases, novel diseases, emerging diseases, re-emerging diseases, no matter the nomenclature you take, intention of the entire world, that there is need to begin to focus on these diseases from the time after the 1992, because it was WHO and everybody began to look at it, and it was generally announced that it's time now to pay close attention to emerging diseases. So the organizers of this scientific meeting have done well to have chosen a title and a theme like this at a time like this. So many diseases that have been reversed before are beginning to come online again, and it's important for us to recognize them. I talked about HIV before, and HIV brought a lot of things along with it. And Institute of Medicine, IOM, began to look at all those other diseases that emerge as a result of the focal point of HIV. For example, even in America, cholera is something. In 1991, cholera cannot be dreamt of. There's water everywhere, good water, welcome water everywhere. But in 1991, in America, a case of cholera was reported. So that's really reimagined. In 1994, we all knew about the plague outbreak in India. that nearly, eradicates the whole community. And the Ebola that we had is there in 1935 that eventually spread to us, and we had, a taste and a dose of it not too long ago, in between 2013 and 2016, that started with just one thing, and then 8 people lost their lives, and so many other people died of that. For every one doctor who died, minimum of 4 to 8 nurses have died during that crisis. Then whatever about terrorism of all kinds, international stage, anthrax, letters to attack political opponents, and so on and so forth, began to be operated upon in different lifestyles. Now, what are the sources of these emerging issues? Number one on this list is breakdown of public health measures. When I was in secondary school, I know a lot of things that were done, and by hearing of those things, everybody starts. You have to sweep, you have to arrange, you have to sweep your toilet and everything. Is there anybody here in Lagos who that time, maybe in the 70s, saw the old bucket latrine? The bucket that the people will come and people, thank you. And we come and empty, and you will see live maggots coming out of them from the toilet to be swimming to the maybe the corridor or wherever they are. You know they are still happening now as I'm talking to you in some places. Right now, and in this century, I saw it in Indonesia. I hope there's nobody from Indonesia here. My husband is from Indonesia, so I dare not abuse or say anything bad about anybody. I want to do one in there, but I saw bucket latrine. Can you see? Can you see? In this century, so we're talking about emerging diseases, emerging health issues. They are right down here with us. Energy and electronic communications. A lot of things. I don't know if you have seen so many people who have been burnt with GSM. Children who were playing music and charging their phone and slept off, and the whole place caught fire. Really novel health issues coming up on the because of the new things that we are experiencing. Disease evolution. I read an article recently that talked about the pathogens on ladies' bags. So they really brought ladies' bags and they culture them and come and see all manners of pathogens. And they asked the ladies how come. Some of them said when they went to the toilet, they would just put their bags on the floor. I hope there's nobody here who puts bags on the floor when you go to the toilet. Remember, Nigerian toilets are wonderful. American toilets, maybe you can do that. But there's no toilet in this Nigeria, no matter how beautiful it looks, that should qualify to host your pad on the bare floor. For those ladies, they do it, they don't come, they put their bag. Some nurses are among them, and those nurses, when they return from work, they are wearing overall over their uniform. They just remove the overall with their hands, take the overall away, and carry children. Some of them are hungry, and they just put hand inside water, ordinary water, without soap, without anything. Put the hand inside it, do immersion, baptism for their hand inside the water, bring it out, and make the pathogens to become activated in the moisture, and put it inside the hot pepper to activate the germs. So there's a lot of things in the cultured bags and other things of people. Wastes that are getting from industry, wastes that are processed in different dimensions, poverty and social inequality, human behavior, socioeconomic lifestyle that is poor. War and famine, you see a lot of them that are contributing or that are potential sources of these emerging issues. There are so many factors. I've mentioned unsanitary facilities, disruption of basic care services, and so on that can spread these infections. In the early 1970s, we all talked about improved sanitation. But now we know that a lot of things happen to compromise that. And so we are looking at them and we're looking away from them. And we have a lot on the list. We have Ebola, Lassa fever, we have SARS, we have mentioned AIDS, hemorrhagic fever, and so on and so forth. Then of course you have the flu, hepatitis, staphylococcus infections, and so on and so forth. By 2016, well, they are still mentioning all these things as re-emerging infectious diseases. There are so many. Somebody mentioned today that we thought we are done with polio. And after about 2 years that we thought we have eradicated it and we should go dancing and should go celebrating, just then again be living, with polio. And that's a serious matter. In May, some family members escaped from this Boko Haram we are talking about, and they trekked to this environment in Jera in Safara. And in this place, the girl became paralyzed. And it was discovered that actually it was present. The northern issues that we all are familiar with, somebody said this morning that if there's anything Buhari is going to do, the first on the list is to recover the Chibok girls. I was in the bathroom and I laughed. With God, all things are possible. But I saw one of the girls that was interviewed. She carried a baby and she was crying that they should allow her to go back to Sambisa to go and meet her husband. I saw it myself. So I wonder, the Chibok girls, if they are the same Chibok girls or Chibok mummies or Chibok wives that we are going to be looking after. Anyway, it is better to get them back, whichever and however. So we have that displacement issues as emerging health issues that we never dreamt of from years ago. It's not displacement, not displacement. When I was young, what I hear of is people that are displaced from other countries, not people in their own fatherland being displaced. And that's why the terminology internally displaced persons. About 1.1 million displaced persons are now living across Nigeria from different parts of our own father's soil. It's a serious matter. And the report of 2014 says we actually have 3.3 million people. So there are missing childhoods. Some children left their school and they took a car. And from the place they dropped them off, we study from lecture, they disappear. They can't find them, they don't know what happened. And I read the newspaper last week of a guy that works with, I'm forgetting the organization, and the boss of the organization dropped him, took him home. And they dropped him a street before his street. And the following day, very early in the morning, they found him beheaded. Only his body was found dead, the head was gone, the body was there. So there are missing childhood, there are all kinds of things that are exacerbated in the current environment that we are living in. I talked about polio before, the same thing with measles. It is still an endemic problem even now. On the ward in UCH, it was amazing that we found out that tetanus is becoming very high again. Tetanus that has died now, the natural that has resurrected. And now we are having a lot of cases of tetanus on the world, undiagnosed and undocumented depression. Somebody just come and is looking. A girl lost admission, she couldn't get admission, and then by the time they brought her to me, she could not even remember the name of the secondary school she went to. She could not remember what she had in YN, talk less of JAM, just because she was denied admission 2, 3, 4 times. For heaven's sake, there are so many things that one can do. If one is not working, do another thing. Imagine health issues. And you are watching somebody in your neighborhood who hitherto you think has been quiet, suddenly becomes aggressive. You may be dealing with bipolar in your hands without you knowing. So it's important to look at all these undocumented and diagnosed, traumatic experiences, post-traumatic experiences, depression, mania, that are not labeled at all. I have had a medical doctor live with a child in the house, and this medical doctor is a psychiatrist, and he could not pick that child actually was going into depression. Yes, because it presented in a different way, and the boy has always been a quiet person, so it was very difficult to pick it until we asked and then explore before we got there. So there have been a lot of issues that are happening. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let us empower our girls. Let us empower our girls against sexual violence. When you want to pronounce penis, pronounce it professionally. Penis is penis. It doesn't have any other name. Don't call it John Thomas, Kokoro, and all those names you call it. Don't. Let us call a spade. Call the name. Let them, even professionals. You are taking history from a patient and you are telling the patient, come on, talk professionally. There's a way you ask questions in a professional way that the person will have given you the answer before knowing. But if you are asking, how is it blind? Why will they not know when it's not blind, when she's not blind? What kind of question is that? Go professional. Ask questions professionally and get professional answers. You can elicit the information that you want to get and give the appropriate answer to what you want to elicit from that individual. So it's very, very important to please call those things the way they are. If you need a cause or a courses here and there that can help you to pronounce Popo without feeling anything. Many of you have not heard and have said it. A pastor lived in a house where they call Benin's umbrella. After every time they're talking about umbrella, come on, hold your umbrella well. Keep your umbrella, pack your umbrella. And one day another pastor came to visit them, and it was raining heavily. And the mother came out and said, hey, go and get umbrella to pastor. The boy, 6-year-old, ran, grabbed the pastor's penis, and was holding the pastor. Yeah, master, what is the problem? He said he wanted to pick umbrella to give to the pastor. And the pastor said that this child is demonic. He is demonic. Is that umbrella? But it's not the boy's fault. It's because they have been calling penis umbrella. It is important in the days that we live to avoid a lot of imagined and reimagined issues. Call things the way they are. There's a way to pronounce things without any problem. However, if penis sounds too big in your mouth, you can add brother to it. And when you add it, you won't feel it that it's heavy. And that can go a long way to help young people in the environment. Not quite all of what we're talking about. If they are neglected, ladies and gentlemen, sexually transmitted diseases, sexual violence, and a lot of problems are at the base of what we are looking for. If we continue to operate in that, mental health issues, I've mentioned that 1 in 4 families have at least one person with a mental disorder. May not be diagnosed, may not be classified, but I tell you, there's somebody, at least one out of 4, who already has some problem of mental health for the other. And it is important for us to watch it and observe and ask questions and seek help as a one deal so that things do not get out of hand. Nigerian healthcare authorities are always relying on neuropsychiatric hospitals. But I want to tell you, nurses at this forum, that actually you are the best group of people that can help. Yes, that is the truth. I mean it. Community mental health is very important. That is why even in Aro, they have a community advocate outside, across the road, where they try to integrate people back into the community. Because there's no point doing everything you want to do and bringing them back into the society where the stress that in the first instance push them out there is still waiting for them. Even when it was not at a time like this that we are in, that everything is pressured. Children are pressured, parents are pressured, husbands are pressured, wives are pressured, and of course nurses are over pressured. So what is important for us to look at it as nurses? What are our responsibilities in health promotion? There is this place in Odua where they have taken away an emblem for nurses. And as nurses, number 1, we must assess health needs. It's important to assess the health needs of the individuals, of communities, of anyone we come across, not only in the sphere of our work, in our mosque, in our churches, in our fellowship, wherever we are, as gatekeepers of society, we should be available to assess and then make meaningful interpretation of whatever we see. Building capacity in health promotion, that is why we are here. And that is why the organizers of this program have decided to choose a theme like this for us to build our capacity. And I'm sure in the course of the week, I'm going to be doing a lot of things to actually build our capacity in this area. We must be specialized people, must be competent. Competence is no longer looked at knowledge. It's no longer enough to talk about knowledge. They've added attitude and now they've added skills. So competencies are now tripartite. You have knowledge, you have good, positive attitude to drive it home, and then your skill is superb. Then you can decide to be a competent health promotioner or health promotion practitioner. Number 3, participate as a proactive key player in intersectoral collaborations. For my sister who came here and led us in choral group, that was beautiful. Me, I know how to dance very well because there's no time. I looked at some people, they didn't allow the music to waste at all. They dug it well and they caught fun and enjoyed themselves. And as you do that, you're actually shaking away some yagba that you can see away from your body. It's wonderful. Exercise is good and music is one of them that team you want to be able to do that. So we must, as public health promoters, we must be people who are diverse, who must be ready to intersectorally collaborate with others. Don't just stay in one local government or in one particular environment. No, move out. If you are here, I saw the people from Benin, they sat together. Distribute yourself. Let people from Benin move to people from Benue. Arrange yourself, strategize, move among those who are coming from Delta. Go and move to people from Jos, from Plateau. Don't just move together like, no, don't let me say that. Don't just move together, let's scatter and gather experience and share information from other people from wherever they are coming from as well. I didn't say so, you're the one saying it though. It's important. Tackling multiple determinants. It's important for us to understand we are from a wide variety of settings, several, and we can put all of them in schools. We have school health nurse, in workplaces, we have various operational health programs, in hospitals, local communities where we are. There are different kind of things. It's important for us to operate at the numbers. 5, evaluate health promotion activities. 6, generate new knowledge. Knowledge is advancing every day. I hope the noise is not too much. You promised me that I should continue. Hello?
Hello, great nurses. Please, I want the photographers to move out of this hall. Please, I give you just 1 minute. Photographers, please move out of this hall. Please, let me appeal to those of you who are engaging these photographers. Be reminded that we have people on the high table who are our guests. And we have been talking about the image, our image.
And if I'm going to talk about that, I will not leave here today. If I talk about research, I will not leave this podium till tomorrow. Because it's very important. Honestly speaking, there is nothing you want to do now without research. Anywhere at home, if you are not researching into your relationship with your husband, you will be losing out a great deal. If you do not research into your relationship with your children, you'll be missing out a great deal. If you are not researching in your work with your patients, you will not be able to advance knowledge. It's very important for us to look at advocacy for individual and community at political level and society level as well, apart from researching. It's very important. There's no policy makers put together and begin to speak to Reggie. They're not going to get you. So you must be able to translate what does that mean. So we're talking about chi-square. And so what does that translate to into policy formulation? You want to break it down to help them to get and understand what you're talking about, and then you can get meaning and value out of what you were saying. Research, as I always like to define it, is searching for something and searching again. You are searching for something and you search again. I know women who wear expensive things. I don't. Maybe this is about the most expensive earring that I have. But it is most expensive because the one I used to wear before this one was crushed. Someone attempted to rob me. He didn't succeed because I got everything back and he was arrested and my things were returned to me. But that earring fell and crushed. So I had to get another one. And this one I got about 7 years now. 90,000 naira. That 90,000 naira of that time may be like maybe 200,000 naira. I don't know how much it will be. So this earring is the only one I wear. I don't have two. If I'm coming here, I will wear it. If I'm going to another place, I will wear it. If I'm going for a function, I will wear it. If you are angry, come and remove it and give me another one. Provided you're not angry, I'm going to wear this one. So if there's a wedding ceremony, I'm wearing this one. If I'm going to church or something, I'm wearing this one. Anyway, I don't have to be changing it and be removing it. I'll put another one, I will match that one, and I will match this one, I will go with my shoe. No. I don't have time for that. But where I'm going is not there. This is where I'm going. If this earring should fall here, do you think I will just look for it and say, please, so is my earring there, and I will not go to Bero? I will search for it. I'll search again. When I get to Bero, I will call the people on the high table. Please help me to ask them under the table and check. Do you see my earring? What am I doing? Researching. You are searching for something. You are not satisfied. You are searching for that thing again. You are yet again not satisfied. And you are searching again and again and again. It may be a question. It may not be a question about a particular local government. It may be a problem. I am looking for solution. In your local government environment, anytime you have a question in your mind and you are looking for an answer to, or you have a problem and you are looking for solution to, and you are looking for it over and over, what you are doing is called research. Are we together? We are not. Are we together? Very some lessons from Ebola. We remember Patrick Sawyer's scenario who arrived in Lagos on that airline and died in hospital 5 days later. I have a mentor in the US who came to Nigeria because the doctor who died is a classmate. And she said what killed that doctor is because nobody was ready to set up line for her to replace lost fluid and electrolyte. That was what killed that doctor. But for that one doctor that died, several nurses have died. I will show you the case study, and I think that's what we're running on when I get to that slide. We need to arise and begin to realize the fact that we have diseases and health issues, communicable and non-communicable, that are imagined, reimagined, and reimagined. And there are so many lessons we can learn from that. For example, strong public awareness campaign. Nurses have led awareness campaigns to all manners of other professionals. You have health educators taking over, you have pharmacists taking over, you have radiologists, even you have physicians. Talking about health awareness, this used to be the domain of nurses. And we need to wake up because of the emergence of all these diseases and health issues. We need to occupy our health position. Health promotion is very important. That's what we're talking about, what we're doing. Empowering individuals, which is also what we're doing. Promoting the sectoral approach. Don't let them just sit down in one place. Do not stay only in one. Politics. Please don't say politics is a dirty game. If it's a dirty game, go there and make it clean. Please participate. Some people don't even know when the next election is coming up. Anyway, that's research today, so we are aware. Governmental support. The government now is not ready to give you 5 naira if you don't have 15 naira. So you must generate funds, internally generated revenue. When you get that, now this is my problem, I have this amount, I need this amount, then you can get somebody somewhere listening to you. It is very, very important for us to look at all of this so that we can have support to what we need. Combat fraud. Combat fraud. I don't know how to marry this, but it is important. There is a difference between gift and bribe. But there are times that both of them are intermingled and it becomes difficult to know what. You are looking for admission for your daughter, and then you have come to see me and you are bringing a bag of salt. Did I tell you that Adeyemi will get me? What is that bag of salt for? We must combat fraud. You must face it squarely. And don't wait for money from every angle, every corner. It's not until now, Alausa-Ikeja, and they won't get your palm oil, which is very expensive now. It's available, and you collect it. Let us manage, let us look at how to combat fraud in our own sphere of influence. It is very, very important. Now, this is, I just brought this one from a source. Because of that study I told us, nurses now, we have been told several researches, we are no longer watching our hands. And when we are watching our hands, we are not watching our hands properly. And please, teachers can afford not to wash their hands. It is a matter of chalk when they get back. And now, with all manners of different type of writing materials, blackboard that doesn't need chalk, that is even out of it. But that is not the case with the nurse. So we must be ready to take care of personal protective equipment as much as possible. I just brought this one out just to remind ourselves, and we can go to that website to find out more details about how to make sure that as healthcare workers we actually make use of this. Don't wait for any hospital, any local government, any state, anybody. Get for yourself. It is very, very important. I just put this one here. How to turn, how to put on, how to put off, the things you should avoid. I was in one hospital and they were told they were provided with goggle. And this surgeon, the residents, the nurses, everybody, frank open operation, no way of goggle. They said it's disturbing them. They is not allowed them to do what they want to do. They have no freedom of doing what they want to do. May you be alive to exercise your freedom. I just brought an example of some of those types of hemorrhagic diseases that we have seen in this environment. Now, this is the last group of slides. To look at tackling the public health challenge. And Lassa fever case studies is what I'm driving home at. Lassa fever started off in a town, in a mission hospital in a town called Lassa. You can find it on the net or wherever. And in the Yesterday River Valley at the south end of Lake Chad in Borno State, that is where the first case was experienced. And then by 19 January 1969, a missionary nurse, please, I want us to pay attention. Hello? Thank you for learning very fast. And you know, learning will not take place until there's a permanent change in behavior. So can we have it quiet a little bit so I can get this? Thank you. I'm waiting for the silence. You can do it. Thank you. Now, in this 1969, this nurse, her name is Laura Wine. She's a 65-year-old American missionary nurse. She was very hardworking, like many of us are. And she came down to come and assist. And suddenly she became ill. In Lhasa, she has been there working for 4 years. She had fever, she had back pain, she had sore throat. And there's this doctor who is close with her. And that doctor became worried and confused. What will happen to Laura Wine? What kind of problem is this one? Eventually she died, and they did an autopsy. They found out that another nurse, who is called Penny Pino, who assisted Laura Wine, became ill 1 week after. And they realized that doctor realized that illness is not responding to chloroquine, is not responding to penicillin injections, and so they flew her abroad. She was flown to New York. Dr. Jane Troop herself later developed similar illness and she died. Now, because they realized that Charlotte died and they flew Penny out to New York, when they got to York, she was alive. So they took the specimen from her and they sent it to Yale Abu-Ghraib's Research Laboratory. So at Yale, they isolated the new virus, and the new set of scientists who isolated that virus were led by a scientist called Johnny Castle. But in the process of that isolation, a couple of them got infected, and one of them actually died. Now, Penny Pino survived. She only survived because she was flown to York, and they were able to carry out that test, and they were able to respond quickly. So she returned to Nigeria to continue her missionary work. And so they named that virus Lassa virus because it was discovered in that Lassa community. Now, this is the same pattern that all hemorrhagic fevers take. They just appear, you think it's malaria, sometimes you think it's flu, sometimes you think it's this. Nobody knows what they're doing. Before they know where they are, now, chloroquine is not working, penicillin is not doing anything, and they're off they go. So, Lassa actually, first of all, introduced itself among this team of missionary health workers. And that continues to be the pattern of that outburst in the epidemic. And we have all known it now. It's no longer news to us. We all know what is happening. But look at this scenario. There's a place called Adejumo in the east. This epidemic was dramatic in this place because in 1984, in Edo State, in this community called Adejumo, in this community, a woman died. When that woman died, they organized burial program and arrangement and everything for her. And as they buried her husband, who was available to help her, died. And they realized that what killed the husband was similar. And the two of them had two sons. One of those two sons was a medical doctor in Ekoma. The second was a Chicago-based engineer. They all attended the burial. They gave their parents, the father and the mother, visit burial. And after that visit burial, the medical doctor in Ekoma became ill. He had fever, sore throat, proteinuria, and a couple of days he began to bleed from all orifices, including the injection sites. The colleagues, they tried everything they could do to save him, but a few days after the burial of his parents, he died. Now, with the death of a father, the death of a mother, the death of a son, medical doctor, in a typical black community in Nigeria, they implicated a young girl. They said she was a witch that was responsible, and after beating her thoroughly, she confessed. By force, by compulsion, she confessed that yes, it's true. But what happened to the other son who came from the US in Chicago, the engineer, brought people to their senses that engineer who also came to Nigeria to help him out for the burial returned before the brother died. When he got to Chicago, he actually became ill. And when he became ill in America, they took his blood and they sent it to where they took the blood sample of the other nurse to in Yale, in Alabama laboratory, and they conducted the test. He died on the hospital bed. So a few days later, the real witch was isolated. And that was the Lassa virus that we all talked about. So there have been a lot of epidemics. I was in Benin for sabbatical leave, and Lassa fever resurfaced in 2012. It came up again and began, all manners of things began to suffer. So what's the public health impact of all of this? Wiping out of an entire family? Do you know what it will cost for a parent to have trained up a child to be an engineer, to train the child to be a doctor, to now be practicing as an engineer in Chicago? Chicago is one of the expensive states in the US. Very expensive for him to be practicing there, and the one that's a medical doctor in Adejumo, for all of them to die, for the mother to die, the father to die, everybody to die like that. So it's a serious catastrophic public experience that we have in our hands, and it's resurfacing, and we need to watch it because it has real public health impacts and impacts. So high death rate among health workers. Look at all the nurses, the missionary nurse, the one that is me, the doctor, the people that took the blood sample. How many of them were just wasted just like that? Untimely death of friends, sympathizers, mothers in the Abuja episode, which I didn't put there. All manners of things that are public health impact of all of these emergency diseases. There are many. Time will not permit you to just go through it. What is important is for us to be aware that we are having diseases that have been done away with. They are resurfacing and they are coming back again as global diseases, and we need to do a lot of things about them. And this is giving international figure, global community, even a sense of urgency. I don't know about us. It is worrisome because we know about higher national mortality rate coming from Nigeria, and a lot of these diseases are affecting us. What should be the response to this scourge? Can we all read this together? Who should respond? Number one. In all of these emerging diseases, I don't know that cholera broke out in the US again. What did they do? How did they respond to it? Adapt best practices from various healthcare professionals all over the world. Be part of a national coordinated effort. Support and reassure all of us at the grassroots level. Because I'm from UI, you and I are the gatekeepers to our health. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, nurses, regardless of where we work, should take health promotion as our core responsibility so that healthy people can live in healthy communities, in healthy nations, healthy Nigeria, and the healthy world at large can become a better place for us to dwell in. I want to thank you very much.
Can we appreciate our